Celtic 4, Falkirk 0. It is the final game of a trifecta last night, and we did it in level of importance. Let's just call it as it is. Rangers, Hibs was on telly, Hearts dropped points, they're the league leaders, and Celtic are just not on TV, in no man's land. Martin O'Neill, it's not very interesting, is it?
It turns out that Brendan Rodgers was the problem at Celtic, but will Martin O'Neill be the problem solver? Comes in, scores 4 goals in his first game. Brendan Rodgers could barely get this team to do anything in front of goal. 73-year-old Martin O'Neill comes in, Celtic score 4, put 4 past Falkirk, and all of a sudden now, these people that were defending Rodgers, these people that were blaming the board and saying it was all the board's fault and Rodgers had nothing to do with it and it's not Rodgers' fault and Rodgers isn't to blame, Rodgers wasn't backed, Rodgers wasn't this, Rodgers wasn't that, it was the squad, they were a team full of Honda Civics. It's funny how Martin can come in and get them a 4-0 win, and to me, that makes Brendan Rodgers walking away look even worse.
No, yeah, it does make him look worse because I'm not convinced if Rodgers stays they're going to beat Falkirk. No, is this the acid test? No. What's going to be the acid test? The next couple of weeks, right? Well, the next 3 games really. Away to Midtjylland, Old Firm semi-final, and home to Kelly they're harder than Falkirk at the end of the day, but at the same time, for Rodgers, we kind of guessed this. I'm not surprised that Celtic get rid of Rodgers.
Let's give Martin O'Neill some credit though, because when Danny Rowe came in, I said that he's got to take blame for that 3-0 defeat in Brann, and people went, well, no, he's only been there 2 days, he's only had, 1 training session, and people were making excuses, Rangers fans were making excuses. So, what's Martin O'Neill? Martin O'Neill's had, 24 hours? Just over 24 hours?
Something like that.
And already there's been a massive difference, because don't tell me that this Celtic team I don't think's beating Falkirk 4-0 with Rodgers there.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, would they have won? Probably, but would they put 4? When was the last time Celtic put 4 past the team?
No, absolutely. No.
And that's the difference.
Not saying this is going to be Celtic for the foreseeable future. Not saying they're going to go and win their next game.
The games that Celtic are going to struggle in are the games where they're actually. Falkirk are nearly promoted. The defence at Celtic is the weak point. That's where all the injuries are. With respect to Falkirk, it's pretty much Scott Arfield, Brian Graham, and a few other guys.
Yeah, but Martin O'Neill's obviously got a reaction out of the players that Brendan Rodgers wasn't getting.
Yeah. But we heard Rodgers.
But Danny Rowe came in and he had a bit more time than Martin O'Neill did.
Yep.
And what reaction did he get with the Rangers players? Because that game against Brann, I think, was Rangers' worst performance of the season.
Yeah. Now
the Club Brugge performance was bad, but Club Brugge are a good team.
I'd say the 6-0 against Bruges. Probably the worst, but it's close. It's a battle of undisputed.
I didn't see the game, be honest. Haven't seen the game.
But it sounded much more positive. It sounded like they actually were playing good football.
I think it would be hard to win 4-0 and not put in a good performance. I'll say that.
Yeah. No, well, absolutely. It's not impossible, but more often, 99 times out of 100, if you win 4-0, you've put in a decent one.
Straight away for me, this looks bad on Rodgers.
It does look bad on Rodgers.
I bet you Rodgers was hoping. I bet you Rodgers is sitting there. Doubt he's watching the game, but I bet you he was hoping. Martin O'Neill, hopefully he comes in. Hopefully he drops points or has a really sluggish performance, and it will look like the players, and I'll be resolved of any blame.
But think,
if anything, this makes Rodgers look shit.
I think Rodgers was going to actually, in Celtic fans' eyes, look like smelling of roses, because he's walked away, and they're going to spin it and say, well, you know what? He knew when to walk away. He still walked away though, and that's the thing for me.
Brendan
Rodgers would look worse if Dermot Desmond sacked him. I think
the title.
No, agree though.
No, absolutely. Look, the title will be decided in May, but Brendan Rodgers lost it in October, and that is a fact. Doesn't matter who wins the league title. Brendan Rodgers he's already lost it.
Is Martin O'Neill throwing his name in the hat with that tonight?
I think it's going to take more than one game, but why not? If Martin O'Neill, if Celtic go and beat Rangers in this semi-cup final, and if they. I think they've got one more European game, don't they, midweek? And then is there one more European game?
Yeah, Midtjylland away.
If they beat Rangers, beat Midtjylland, And then who's their fight? I think they've got Kilmarnock at Celtic
Kilmarnock at
Park.
home.
That's the final game.
Well, put it this way, right?
See, if he wins those next 3 games, and the performances are good, then why not? Because I believe that Celtic will be looking to appoint someone during the international break, and it could well be Martin O'Neill.
But why not?
Is he a long-term appointment?
Why not just appoint him to the end of the season?
Because I think they'll want to see how the next 3 games go.
No, but I'm saying if they're going to appoint him, it's not like he needs to agree to a 3-year deal.
Well, they're hardly going to. Yeah, but what would be the point of appointing him if this turns out to just be a
No,
fluke
I'm
result?
saying after the 3 games, if he does well, then I would probably.
Well, I highly doubt at 73 they're going to offer him a 5-year deal. It probably will be to the end of the season, or like
He looks well though.
Maybe a year and a half, and it'll be to the end of the following season. Martin O'Neill's not going to be. I don't see him being a long-term Celtic manager. What I possibly could see if the results go well for Celtic over the next few games is maybe Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney. They stay for maybe 2 years or a year and a half as Martin is the manager, Sean Maloney's the assistant, and then maybe once Martin decides that he's too old for this shit, as Danny Glover did, leave away him, then Sean Maloney will be promoted to the number 1 spot.
It's a double-edged sword though. If he does well and then they don't go with him, they bring someone in who doesn't do well, the board will get blasted for that. But decent, good win for Celtic, close the gap to Hearts.
Right, 2 goals.
But all that matters, right, is the weekend. See Rangers winning 2 games in the league in a row, see Celtic bouncing back and closing the gap to Hearts. All of that is actually irrelevant this weekend if you lose.
Right.
But that's what. See whoever loses. No one's looking back at Hibs or Falkirk or Kelly or whatever the fuck. No one's looking back at that.
Whoever wins on Sunday will have had a great week, and whoever loses on Sunday will have had a shiter. That's the fact.
Right, Johnny Kenny, 2 goals. Well, Arfield missed a chance. He should have done better for the edge of the box. Mr. Saturday night,
Falkirk did have a few opportunities in the first half, but Celtic took a 2-0 lead thanks to Kenny into half time, and then I think it just 2-0 at the break. That was probably going to finish it. The third goal for Nygren definitely did finish it, and then Tunetke, he made it 4, and I mean, just no way back for Falkirk after that. I mean, if you look at the stats, Celtic had 60% possession to Falkirk's 40, 26 shots to Falkirk's 8, 11 on target to Falkirk's 4, and Celtic got in the box 36 times compared to Falkirk's 13, and it was 6-3 in favour of Celtic in terms of corners. So I think Falkirk put up a pretty good effort based on those stats and from the sound of listening to it, but in the end, no, Celtic got a convincing win. Looks like they deserved it, and that obviously takes them 6 points close. Takes them to 6 points now. Take it 2 points closer to Hearts. But all these people saying, "Oh, that's it. Hearts have bottled it. Hearts' bottles crash." Well, why? It's one game. That would be naive. That would be like saying, "Well, Celtic can't win the league now. They've lost to Dundee." Well, Celtic can't win the league now. They've lost to Hearts. You know, at the end of the day, Celtic have lost to the Tim Reaper, Stephen Presley. Hearts haven't lost to that guy yet, so I'm still.
This weekend, things could change.
If Stephen Presley becomes the jam tart eater, then you know what? Maybe I'll be a bit more reserved. But for right now, I find it very hypocritical because Rangers won last week, and all the Celtic fans were like going, "Oh look, 1 win, and Rangers fans think they're back. 1 win, and Rangers fans think they're going to win the league." But then Hearts just draw in Paisley, which is a very difficult place to go, and all of a sudden the narrative is, "Oh, the bottles crashed. That's the title challenge done."
Also, let's talk about it, right? Hearts came back from behind twice and almost had a late winner. It's not like they were shite and scraped the draw.
No, absolutely.
And even if they did, right, you know what? There's going to be twists and turns.
A draw in Paisley doesn't.
Do you not think though?
Rule out your title challenge.
Do you not think though it shows how shite the league are that Rangers are back to 3rd after quite possibly?
Not really, because I think this season has been very close. I mean, we have been always saying how a couple of wins can take you like 6th place up the table, and that's what Rangers have. So I'm not going to change the narrative and pretend that it's just because the entire league's shite. I think the entire league's been very close and very competitive. I don't think it's a quality issue. I mean, just look at the amount of draws. That's not normality. The amount of draws we've had this season is insane. And draws, they only get you 1 point. They don't really move you up the league table. So who really cares if you get 4 draws in a row or 5 draws in a row. All it takes is a team all it really takes is a team to get 2 wins and they automatically go above you. And Rangers have won the last 2 games, so that is here. If Rangers lose their next 2 games, they could easily be back down in like 8th or 9th. So even if they draw their next 2 games due to the league table, they could easily be back at the top 6. So I mean, it is what it is.
Are you feeling the heat though? Has the heat been turned up here? Are you feeling Martin? And no Russell, by the way, O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill was a good manager 20 years ago.
Are you bricking him?
No. I'm not going to panic after 1 game.
No.
1 game doesn't do it for me. I'll see how he gets on in the next 3. Rangers, Mitchell and Kilmarnock. If he wins all them and Hearts falter again in the league, if the gap is, I'll be honest, if the gap is less than 6 points going into the international break, I'll be very upset. Technically, Hearts have an extra game in the league, so it shouldn't be. But I think the important thing now is for Hearts they've got the 2 Dundee clubs. I think it's Dundee and then Dundee United. I believe both are at home.
Yep.
Hearts need to pick up maximum. I genuinely think Hearts do need 6 points.
And also Hearts have got a hard run coming up.
Yeah, I think Hearts need to get
Celtic.
Hearts need to get 6 points. You don't want to be dropping twice in like consecutive games. You know.
Absolutely not, but we're back for the review show later. A lot of drama. Motherwell won. I went all in on Dundee United. I
thought Motherwell would win. Anyway, Hearts are still the only unbeaten team in the league, so...
I know, it's 7, what is it, 8 wins, 2 draws? Fucking...
Someone was like, oh, you think you're going to challenge for the title, you're not going to beat the mighty Celtic signing players for the Prague 3rd Division. Well, the so-called Prague 3rd Division's done Hearts alright so far, hasn't it? Put them top of the table. It was good enough to beat Celtic on Sunday there, so...
If there was a pandemic right now, Hearts would win the league.
Alright, back to a simple.
That's it. Anyway, guys, till next time. Peace.